Okay.
So, I'll bring this meeting to order for the April 17th full authority board meeting. We'll go through attendance first.
Lori Baldwin Sands.
Present.
Frank Burrs.
Present.
Jim Herbert. Absent. Grant Jones.
Here.
Sharon McMillan.
Here.
Jerry Pribble.
Present.
Todd Noble.
Present.
Sam Trousseau. John Wilson. So, Mr. Chair, we have 6 of 9 members present.
Thank you. That does make quorum. We'll do our audio, video and land acknowledgement now.
Kettle Creek Conservation Authority wishes to acknowledge the treaty and traditional lands originally occupied by the Indigenous First Nation peoples of the Anishinaabe, Attawaddaron, and Haudenosaunee nations. KCCA strives to build meaningful relationships with Indigenous communities and recognizes the importance of respecting these treaties and lands.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Any declarations of community interest? Not seeing any. We'll move down minutes from the March 27th full authority meeting. Recommendation is minutes of March 27th, 2024 full authority meeting be approved. Any errors or omissions? If not, I need a mover and second, please. Todd, Frank? All in favor? I guess we have to call the votes in
We
series.
do, sorry. Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Burrs.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Pribble.
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Thank you. Move down to matters arising. First, our media report. Mary Ann, floor is yours.
Sure. All right, so in terms of media report, I just wanted to share that the Elgin Kettle Creek Agricultural Scholarship is now live on the KCCA website. And it's in partnership with the EFA, the Junior Farm Association of Ontario, Kettle Creek Conservation Authority, and the Environmental Trust. And applicants can learn more on the website. Also wanted to share that Rewild the Family is open to nominations. Also available on the Kettle Creek Trust website. So just 2 initiatives that applications are both open for.
Okay. Any questions for Mary Ann? No? Things are looking good. All right, we'll move down to project tracking. It's Elizabeth.
Mr. Chair, busy year for staff as things gear up. Existing seasonal campers will be picking up their permits tomorrow and Friday. So they're all set, ready to go for Campground Open May 1st. We did fulfill the updates to the watershed connections page. So a number of projects are live and accepting public feedback on those. We did also host a Dodd Creek Virtual Public Information Center last night. I think 3 members of the public turned out for that initiative, but a number of other calls and connections that staff have made with the community over that project as well. The Elgin Clean Water Program Review Committee met on March 28th and 21 applications were received, and Betsy will have more on the Elgin Clean Water Program later report in the agenda. We're finalizing the tree planting crew for spring 2024, and seasonal staff hiring is now complete with orientation scheduled for the 27th through the 30th.
Okay, thanks. Elizabeth, any questions? If not, we'll move on to watershed conditions. Jennifer. Go ahead, Jack.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just the seasonal weather that's been moving through the area has been causing water levels to fluctuate in the lake and in local creeks and streams. As you were discussing earlier, we did have a total solar eclipse on April 8th, which was definitely well received in this part of Ontario. And staff also attended the Spring Southwest Ontario Flood Forecasting and Warning Alliance workshop, where local CAs in the Southwestern Ontario region get to discuss updates, changes, improvements to the system. It's good. good time to talk with colleagues about flood forecasting and watershed.
Thanks, Jen. Any questions? Not seeing any. We'll move down, next one is, insurance renewal with Elizabeth.
So this is a piece of good news, and in my opinion, Marsh confirmed a successful renewal again for 2024 with an overall rate decrease of 3.5% for the program. And this is a collective that we joined with Conservation Ontario and a number of CAs across the province. So it gives us a better price. With our increases and decreases to our revenue and our property values, it does equate to a 1% increase specifically for us. But overall, another good renewal. There's no brokerage fee increases as well, which Marsh has been very good about. Marsh will be, Conservation Ontario will be taking the file to market in 2024. So relatively good news, no changes to the insurance, and just a slight increase for us over 2023.
Questions or concerns? So very lucky. That's not usually the case. Definitely not at municipal level. Okay, if there's no concerns, we'll move on to Conservation Ontario update with Elizabeth and myself.
Yeah, Chair Jones and I were able to attend the annual general meeting on Monday. Chris Wright was re-elected, acclaimed as chair again of Conservation Ontario. He's the current chair of Grand River Conservation Authority. KCCA was recognized for a number of contributions, both to the metadata inventory of existing Conservation Authority floodplain mapping. Jessica's been able to help the collective out in that regards, and she was recognized at the meeting. And we're also one of probably about 10 CAs that have participated in the Trees Canada program this year as well. I'd also just like to highlight the results of the 2023 annual reporting. So you recall that the province is now asking us to report on how many permits we're issuing and whether or not we're meeting both their timelines. And then CO has a best practice timeline as well. You can see from the numbers on the screen, this is for all CAs reporting 11,517 permits issued across the province. And 95% of those met the provincial timelines. So I think just a good indication of the work that the CAs are doing as a collective to be effective regulatory agencies. And this Conservation Ontario annual report is now available following this meeting. I didn't have it in advance for your advance packages, but I will circulate it out in an email following the meeting.
I guess I don't have a whole lot to add. Elizabeth's covered it all. It's great to see our staff members like Jessica that are helping out at the Conservation Ontario level, collecting data. So we can see numbers like this. And it's also great to see that we're one of 10 in Ontario doing the planning. So small but mighty. Any questions? It was kind of a subdued meeting. It was basically just day-to-day operations. So for AGM, kind of hope for more, but might be just the sign of the times right now. Go ahead.
On that, were there many of these conservation authorities attending virtually, or was everyone in there in person?
So the collective has decided that it is difficult for some of the northern CA to make the meetings in person. It's very expensive for them to take that initiative. So it was decided that the annual general meeting will be in person, and all of this, so no hybrid option, everyone was in person. And then the other two meetings are going to be virtual.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If there's nothing further, a recommendation that the staff reports on matters arising A through E be received. Mover second, Lori and Sharon. Call the vote, please.
Lori Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Frank Burrs.
Yes.
Grant Jones.
Yes.
Sharon McMillan.
Yes.
Jerry Cribble,
Yes.
Todd Noble.
Yes.
And did I see Sam join?
Yes, yes, I'm here, voting yes.
Great, thanks, Sam.
That motion is carried. Moving down to correspondence, first items, from MNRF, to Josh Morgan, any comments from you?
I'll just briefly comment. It's good news. We've been waiting for this. So the City of London did request again. They've appointed 2 councillor representatives to the board. They did request again an exception from the minister. We've been waiting for this. They finally agreed to allow for a citizen member to be the 3rd representative for the City of London. So the City of London is taking immediate action on this. Applications are currently being accepted by the City of London until May 6th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Members of the public who are interested in sitting on this board as a member for the City of London can find the application package on their website or call the phone number on the screen for more information.
Questions there? Go ahead.
So who's leaving?
Nobody.
Nobody, you guys are staying in and there's gonna be a 3rd person?
Yeah, the
Is that
City
all?
of London has 3 representatives,
Okay.
but that's been the issue is that city councillors are far too busy and it is a burden to have 3 councillor reps on the board. So this is good news to have that third body. It will certainly help with quorum and fulfill City of London's representation.
Any other questions? Yeah, those 2 there and getting off that one. Moving on, statement of revenue and expenses.
Sorry, Chair, can I just have a motion to accept that correspondence?
Frank and Sharon. Call the vote, please.
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Spurs,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
McMillan,
Yes.
Cribble,
Yes.
Noble,
Yes.
Trudeau.
Yes,
And that motion passes.
Okay, moving on, there's no statement of revenue and expense, this meeting, so we'll move down to. new
Actually,
business.
Mr. Chair, sorry, there is revenue and expenses. It was kind of a late start. It didn't meet, it wasn't posted on Friday, but it was posted on Monday. This is the statements up to March 31st, 2024. I mean, it is good news. I don't think there's any surprises here. And please report, you can see the Lake Whitaker CA revenue and Dalewood CA revenue with just March reporting. So this is just including the seasonal campers and any reservations we've received up to March 31st. And we're already at pretty much 50% of our revenue target. So it's a reflection both of seasonal campers that we have registered, but the interest in early reservations for the campgrounds.
Okay, any questions or concerns? Obviously, I downloaded the package before that was added.
I do have a couple of questions.
Yeah, go
Jerry?
ahead, Jerry.
Elizabeth, thank you for this. And I wanted to ask you because when I look at the revenues and we are kind of looking at March 31st and we are some of them half 50%. And I wanted to ask you about this. Is this because I couldn't find the financials from last year, March? Are we ahead of the game or do we actually include in the revenue prepaids like for the season for the summer?
Yeah, so that revenue for the campgrounds includes the full payment for all seasonal campers and any reservations that we've received so far for the season that have been made March 31st. So
Okay.
that's the same way that it was reflected last year, but we are slightly ahead from where we were last year at this time. And it's just a reflection of the increased reservations that we continue to get for the campgrounds.
Perfect, thank you. And on the expenditure side, we are currently about 16%. Are we still planning to do all the initiatives that you proposed?
Yes.
Okay, so currently there are no like projected savings. We are planning to do all the initiatives and will be close to those expenses projected, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you very much. No more questions.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Ray.
Through you to Elizabeth. So when somebody they pay for the year up front.
The seasonal campers do, yes.
So if they have to leave, they don't get any money back. They just abandon what they paid and leave if they have to, they pull out.
It would depend at what time of year they're leaving. It is related based on when they leave, but there is, I think it's mid-June or something. If they left after that time, they're forfeiting the.
Yeah, because it's hard to rent that. Okay,
It's already.
gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Any further questions on statement of revenue expense? Let's receive and file.
Yes, please,
Do you need a motion?
please.
We have a motion to receive and file statement of revenue expense. Laurie and Frank?
Baldwin Sands.
Yes,
Burrs,
Yes,
Jones,
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Pribble,
Yes,
Noble, Trudeau.
Yes,
That motion passes.
Thank you. Now we move down to new business, and first is Elgin Clean Water Program Annual Report, and Betsy, go ahead. Go first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the Elgin Clean Water Annual Report was provided in your advanced package, but I just thought I would highlight some of the items from that report. Just as a reminder for some of you, the Elgin Clean Water Program was initiated in 2012 by the 4 Elgin CAs, and it's open to both farm and non-farm landowners in Elgin County. And basically, the program provides funding to landowners to undertake projects, things like erosion control, wetland creation, wellhead management. We also established a cover crop incentive in 2017 that provides farmers with a small incentive to leave their cover crops on over winter to provide erosion protection. And ultimately, the goal is to improve water quality and restore wildlife habitat across Elgin County. And our major program funders are the County of Elgin, who have allocated money annually within their budget for us, and the Green Lane Community Trust Fund has been a longtime supporter as well. So just some numbers of the program overall since it started. 318 projects have been completed. The total project cost for those 300 projects is over $3 million, and we've provided over $860,000 in funding to the projects. This gives you an idea of the distribution of those projects across the county since the program started. And as you can see, there's a good distribution across all of the municipalities within Elgin County. One of the interesting stats I pulled out of all the projects that we have completed, 43% of those have been wetland creation or restoration. So that's a big category for us, and a lot of interested in landowners in wetland creation. Just a couple project highlights and some stats specifically from last year. We had 28 projects completed in 2023. We provided almost $70,000 in funding. Landowners contributed $42,000 in either their own cash or in-kind contributions to the project. We were able to partner with other organizations like Elgin Stewardship Council, Alice, Ducks Unlimited, to find matching funds for landowners to make the projects more affordable for them. And the total project costs was just over $300,000. We did receive funding in 2023 from OMAFRA to be able to promote the program across the county. So we were able to show the good work that's been done over the years through a bus tour that we held in August. As well, we created a series of information pamphlets that were sent out to over 1,700 farm properties in Elgin County that just highlighted the types of projects that landowners could undertake and the funding that's able to support them. This was one of the projects that was done within our watershed in Central Elgin. It was constructed last May. It was a area of the farm that was at the bottom end of a slope, and it seasonally sat wet. So one large wetland cell was created to basically capture that water, slow it down before it was released to the adjacent creek. So you can see there just the progress of that site over the short amount of time. Erosion control, this site was in the Long Point region, watershed, a heavy rainfall event overwhelmed an undersized culvert and caused some gully erosion adjacent to a tributary of the Big Otter Creek. So this was designed by staff at Long Point who are certified in erosion control. And basically a berm and rock chute were installed that could handle the peak flows. And included a spillway to help with larger events. This project was in Catfish's watershed. It was a 60-foot wide native tall prairie buffer strip that was planted to help try and stabilize soil, but also provide habitat as it's a major monarch migration pathway. This was total 10.5 acres of prairie habitat created. And this is an example of some of the large scale restoration projects we get. This one again is in our watershed and we drove by it quickly on our tour. But this was 11 acres of farmland that was retired. It was 2 small fields that the landowner was interested in naturalizing. So the wetland cell was completed late last year. And this spring, the remaining areas will be planted into trees and tall grass prairie. We continue to receive landowner testimonials about the program that just convey the importance of the program. Most people indicate that without that funding, these projects would not be undertaken. And the support that the CA that they receive from CA staff is instrumental in getting the projects completed as well. So I have a recommendation that the annual report be received.
Thank you, Betsy. Any questions? Go ahead, Lori.
This weekend, I worked the home show at the arena and I was very pleasantly approached by some landowners who are currently doing one of these projects. And they wanted me to convey how wonderful the staff have been for their past project and their future project. And they wanted me to relay that to all of the members of the board, that they make this very pleasant. They are they were ready after the last one to do it again, and just could not say enough about the quality of staff and the program that this does for our community. And they were in Central Elgin.
Great to hear. Any questions or comments? And over the years that I've seen this program, I've never heard anything bad, and that usually says a lot. If you don't hear anything bad, you're doing good work.
This is Jerry. I do have a question.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Thank you, and through the chair to the staff. So matching grants 195 plus a little bit 1,000. How successful are we? Or if you look at the dollar wise, not how many grants, but dollar wise, did we apply for in the amounts? How successful are we percentage wise? So we received 195. Did we apply for 200, 300, 400? I'm just curious on the ratio percentage of our success.
Through Mr. Chair to you, Jerry. It's a little different because we're not necessarily applying, we're just working with our partners to secure the matching funding. So,
okay.
Ducks Unlimited has their own pot of funding, and typically the projects that we're taking to them are projects that align with their goals as well. So it's pretty rare that we aren't successful in obtaining the matching funding through our partner organizations.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And then the follow up. So, and none of these amounts offer or include provincial or federal matching funds, grants?
Very rarely. Most of the funds are from local organizations. That isn't to say, though, that like Ducks themselves don't receive provincial funds, but our funds are local funds that support the program.
But if there are any provincial or federal, and I do realize there are not too many, if any, but we do take advantage of any that would apply or we could apply for, right? Correct?
Absolutely. We would, as Kettle Creek, we would apply for those and then use them as matching funding ourselves to match the Elgin Clean Water dollars.
Perfect. Thank you very much. No more questions.
Any other questions? So the recommendation is that the Clean Water Program annual report be received and moved to Lori and Bob. Any further discussion? Call the vote.
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Burrs,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
McMillan. Yes. Pribble,
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
Trudeau,
yes,
and that motion passes.
Thank you. And next, item B, Betsy again with Kettle Creek Clean Water Initiative. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have one project to present to you today, and as you recall, we have a small amount of money in a stewardship reserve that we allocate $12,000 each year to be awarded to projects. And those are brought to you for approval. So I have one project for you today. This is a wetland creation project. The landowners purchased the property a couple of years ago, but the previous landowner had cleared a lot of the natural infrastructure on the property. So that large sort of grass waterway naturalized area you see in the middle of the farm field actually isn't there anymore. And this property is surrounded by all those, the woods you see is basically hillside. So a lot of water funnels down into this agricultural field. So the landowner is looking to create 3 wetland cells on the property to help slow down and capture that water, but also provide wildlife habitat. The estimated project cost is $30,437. With a total grant request from the Kettle Creek Clean Water Initiative of $3,000. We've already secured $4,000 from the Elgin Clean Water Program, $7,000 from Alice Elgin, and we will also be going to Ducks Unlimited to find matching funding for this project. So I am looking for the board's consideration of this project today.
Okay. I get Frank moves. And seconder Todd, any discussion or questions? I'm assuming we have this in the budget already, so it's just a matter of giving consent. So any reason why they moved a bunch of stuff is just in the way, or?
That was the previous landowner, so I'm not sure, I'm assuming just to get more cropland, but
Yeah, sometimes there's a reason why it's there.
yeah.
Okay, there's no further questions, call the vote.
I have 2
please.
questions.
Go ahead,
Jerry?
Jerry.
Through the chair to the staff. So a couple of things, because you are proposing it, so I would imagine the staff is behind in supporting this initiative, correct?
That's right.
And in terms of affecting the budget, no issues there either, correct?
That's right.
Thank you very much.
Call the vote, please.
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Burrs,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
McMillan. Yes. Pribble,
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
Trudeau.
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Okay. And moving down to the next item, St. Thomas, Elgin St. Thomas Children's Water Festival. Bessie, you going first?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a reminder, the Children's Water Festival is quickly approaching. It's running May 7th to 10th at Pinafore Park in St. Thomas. We have over 3,200 grade 2 to 5 students registered to attend over the 4 days. So I just have a few items for you today. The first being an office closure. So as we are the lead agency organizing this event, we want to ensure there's a lot of staff support from KCCA at it. And as is what happened at previous festivals, we're looking for the door for KCCA's administration center to be locked during the festival when required. We would change the corporate message to alert of the closure and provide a number to call in case of emergency. And staff would be checking messages daily and reply to emails throughout the festival. And there may be times during the day where staff are back to the office. I also wanted to just highlight if there are any board members that are interested in volunteering, we can always take more support. So the link for the volunteer registration was provided in the report in your package. And lastly, we would love for you to attend the festival. We're having a partner recognition event on Thursday, May 9th. At 10:30 a.m. You'll be able to get a tour of the festival, see what it's all about, and then join us for lunch at 11:30. So if that's something that you're interested in and able to attend, then I would ask that you just RSVP to me. And the next slide is just the motion where we're looking for a recommendation that the KCCA Administration Center be closed as required from May 6th to 10th to walk-in clients to accommodate staff participation in the Children's Water Festival.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Lori.
This is going to be advertised on the website as well, that the administrative office will be closed during that time. Is there going to be some lead time to that? Is there a ribbon that goes across the top? Acknowledging that, how many days in advance of the water festival?
Yeah, through the chair to Lori, we certainly can do that. There's bubbles on the website, and this would take one of the bubbles. We'll post it on social media and things like that to make sure people are aware.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions or concerns? It's all hands on deck. Okay, the recommendations before you, let me move her a second, please. Todd, Sharon? Call the vote, please.
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Spurs.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Triple.
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
Trudeau.
Yes,
That motion passes.
On to item B, the new regulation to focus municipal environmental assessment requirements. Bill or Elizabeth? Who's with us?
Joe's gonna lead this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So last month, we walked you through a detailed presentation of the changes to the Conservation Authorities Act and the new Section 20 regulation. At that time, we identified there's new minister powers under the act related to permits. And I know there were some questions of the members, but now we have some more information to share as there's another regulation under the Conservation Authorities Act that's currently under the environmental registry process for public comment. And it's specifically outlining the circumstances as to when and how the minister would use those powers. So currently with the proclamation of, go to the next slide, please. Currently with the proclamation of April 1st, the minister has the ability to issue an order directing a CA not to issue a permit. The minister's decision is discretionary and it could be used before or after an application has been made to the Conservation Authority. If he chooses to place an order, it will be posted 30 days on the Environmental Registry website and notification provided to the CA and the applicant. And if an order is made, the minister is required to satisfy the same requirements under the act as we do for decisions. So that's what we refer to as the tests, impacts of flooding, erosion, as well as public safety or property damage. So that was the powers of the minister that's currently in the act as of April 1st. What the new regulation is proposing on the next slide, please, is outlining that the minister can make that order, but only if the development activity pertains to or supports a specified provincial interest. So what they've identified is if the request relates to housing, community services, transportation infrastructure, buildings that facilitate economic development or employment, or mixed use development. So they're identifying when the minister would intend to use those powers if it relates to those provincial objectives or goals. And on the next slide, the new regulation will also outline what needs to be provided with a petition to the minister. So they need to outline an overview of the development, why they're requesting the minister to be involved, indication on whether the municipality has supported the proposal, as well as a status of any other required project approvals, including the extent of any engagement with the CA through the permitting process. So this new regulation, again, will just outline those circumstances of when and how the minister intends to use those powers. The other section of the regulation relates to, as we presented last month, appeals. So if an applicant wishes to request minister review of a decision of this authority, whether for imposing conditions or denying an application, the minister has the power to review our decision and override it or support the same decision. So that's currently in the current regulation. The current act, and then this new regulation again is prescribing, next slide, please. That the minister would only conduct a review, again, if the development activity pertains to or supports a specified provincial interest. And then finally, the regulation will also outline what needs to be provided to the minister when requesting a review, which again relates to any conditions imposed by the CA, the decision of the CA and the rationale that we've given, why they're requesting the minister to be involved, and again, indication of whether the municipality has endorsed this project. So this regulation is currently on the environmental registry for public review and comment. Staff here at Kettle Creek don't have any necessarily substantial comments that we'll be providing, but Conservation Ontario is soliciting comments from all 36 CAs to comment on this process. But so just it's kind of an FYI to let you know the current regulation that's being looked at, and maybe some answers to the questions you had last month on how the minister may or may not use those proposals. And then finally, we're just looking for the staff report on that post.
Just a question, this is Minister of Municipal Affairs?
Natural resources.
Natural resources, okay, so looks like they're normalizing things compared to what it was before. There's a normalization of the process.
Yeah.
Or isn't it so radical?
Yeah, and I think there's been some responses questioning, how will the minister use it? Like, prepared, you may get a lot of requests, so they're trying to specify when the minister would entertain those requests or enact those powers.
It just seems a little redundant when we have the 21 days to review and comment. And we are using the same test as what he will use in an appeal. It just seems a little, so he should come to the same conclusion, you would think, yeah, with the same test. Just pointing that out.
Well, I think things are improving somewhat versus what it was.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I think the biggest question I've heard from Conservation Ontario and some of the other CAs is clarification from the minister. If he does issue a permit, where does the liability lie? Does it lie with the CA or does it lie with the minister? And I think that will be the most important clarification that we need from the ministry on this.
Good point.
Go ahead, Sam.
Does would the agency have the ability to respond to a request for a permit and explain why we are opposed to it?
In terms of acting the order, anyone who's requesting the minister's review would have to supply what the reasons or the decision of the conservation authority was. And I believe there is processes that through that process, they would request the CA to provide our reasons in response.
Could you send out to all of us when you get a chance the submission that's that was made on our behalf?
Oh, for sure, Mr. Chair, to Sam, the CO submission, we can include that in the next month's package.
I mean, in my view, I don't think this is much better than what we had before. And I think it constitutes blatant political interference with agencies that have specific expertise to deal with these matters. And I don't know what is being said on our behalf, but I certainly hope it's not, oh, thank you very much. We're very happy that you sent something, because this is just not acceptable. And I really wish the conservation authorities would take a harder position on this. But I don't know exactly what's in that letter, which is why I asked to see it. But this is just blatant political interference with people that have expertise, in my view.
Well, just a comment, Sam, this isn't new, blatant political interference. This has been going on for a while.
I,
So They do
I
have to
understand.
work the problem, so that's the other thing, you're running a fine line there. Okay, whatever.
If I may, through you, Mr. Chair, I thank you for your comments, Sam, and just to reiterate though, that the powers are already in place. And this is the process of outlining the circumstances of when the minister intends to use those powers, so.
I get it. I get it. It doesn't change the fact that I think that they are way, that this is very inappropriate. And it contain, everything this province does seems to be inappropriate and just seems to be geared towards making life easier for developers and harder for, those of us that are supposed to be protecting the public interest.
I don't think many people disagree with what you're commenting on, Sam.
Joe, just one comment or question. Are there any cases where the minister might refuse to look at an application? Does that ever happen?
Well, we don't have any past cases, because this is a new power that just came in place, but the minister, it's a discretionary decision whether the minister will get involved or not.
I think that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, so if we make a decision to deny a permit and someone requests the minister review, he may choose not to review it. And if he chooses not to review it, then that applicant still has the ability to appeal to the local tribunal.
Ontario Land Tribunal? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, there's nothing further.
Jerry, I
Recommendation-
do have a question, sorry, Chair.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Thanks through the chair to the staff. And I just want to ask, with these, are there any either staffing or financial implication to our organization?
Yes.
I don't believe so unless we end up going to the
No.
tribunal for an
Right.
appeal, but
Right.
that'd be the only case, I think.
No, I mean, on the day-
Sorry, if I may, under the minister review, we would just be providing the province the background report, the reasons for the staff's decision. But as the chair mentioned, if it reverted to a planning tribunal, then that may require the need to have legal or professional assistance in that process.
Okay, thank you. No more questions.
Okay, there's no further questions, recommendations that the staff report on the regulation detailing the new minister's permit and review powers under the Conservation Authorities Act be received. Todd, seconder, Frank, call the vote, please.
Baldwin Sands.
Yes?
Burton.
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
McMillan,
Yes.
Fribble,
Yes,
Noble,
Yes.
Trousseau,
Yes,
and that motion passes.
Thank you. And our last item under new business, April planning and regulations report. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just again, looking for receipt of the advanced staff report on planning approvals and permits that have been issued at the staff level since the last meeting.
Any questions there? If not, a recommendation that the April 2024 planning regulations activity report received. Sharon, moves, seconds, Todd. Call the vote, please.
Baldwin Sands.
Yes?
Burrs.
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
McMillan,
Yes.
Fribble,
yes.
Noble.
Yes.
Trousseau,
yes.
that motion passes.
Okay, next, closed session, so we're going to closed session for a legal acquisition of property matters.
Actually,
Oh,
Karen, if I can interrupt, if we could recess
Sure.
the full authority and go to the source meeting.
sure.
While we're still streaming for the public's information. So we'll just recess at 10:45.
Okay. Who are a seconder, please, to recess, Todd, seconder, Frank, all in favor? Carrie? Oh, I guess.
If I could just get Jerry and Sam,
Jerry,
you're
yes.
okay with recessing?
Jerry, yes.
Yes, I raised my hand. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Okay, we'll now call the Source Water Protection Authority meeting to order. Don't think we need to do land acknowledgement again. We've already done that. So.
Yeah.
Any declaration of pecuniary interest? Seeing any, So next is election of officers and the state administrative approvals. You want to go through that, Elizabeth?
So just a reminder, remember, to members, when we do sit as the Kettle Creek Source Protection Authority, we do sit as an independent body. And just as a reminder of that, we used to go through the process of doing elections of officers. But with the support of legal, it's sufficient enough to pass a motion that we have on the screen. And that is that the chair, vice chair, and all officers elected or appointed by the Kettle Creek Conservation Authority in 2024 serve in the same roles for the Kettle Creek Source Protection Authority in 2024. So just as a matter of administrative process, I would like a mover and a seconder on that motion for the record.
So moved.
Sam moves. Jerry, you want to get in on one here?
Yes, I will. With pleasure, I will second.
Great.
Even though I have to say to the person that moved this, I didn't agree with all the comments he made on the previous topic.
Oh.
We could have a debate on that. That would be fun.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder.
Lori Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Burrs.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Pribble.
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
Trousseau.
Yes.
That motion
Okay.
passes.
Next, minutes of the meeting from December 2023, recommendation of the minutes be approved. Anybody remember that part?
So, Mr. Chair, we can combine these into one motion. But I would note that you're approving the Source Protection Authority minutes and you're just receiving the Lake Erie's Region Management Committee meetings and the Source Lake Erie Region minute meetings.
Any questions? I can't think of anything to highlight in those other meetings. Off the top of my head. Anyway, meeting mover, seconder for all those minutes. Lori, seconder. Todd?
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Burrs.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yeah.
Pribble.
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
And Trousseau.
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Down to the new business versus the annual progress report.
So the main purpose of this meeting is to look at the annual reporting process. So the municipal and provincial agencies are asked every year to have reports submitted to the Source Protection Authority detailing how they've what progress they have made into implementing the source protection plans in each region. And that information is rolled up basically into two reports. One is the annual progress report, which is, you can see a screenshot of it on the left. That's a public facing document. It is a template that is provided by the minister. And then you have the supplemental form, which tends to be much more detailed and technical. And that's the form that is used by the province for reporting and things of that nature. So we're looking at both of those documents today. Next slide. And those documents are basically populated with the help of those reporting agencies by the lead Source Protection Authority. And they're submitted to the Source Protection Committee, so that larger body that meets at the Grand River. They look at those progress reports and they make a recommendation to you as to whether or not the Source Protection Plan is progressing well towards implementation. And then we as an authority must indicate that we are ready for that report to be submitted to the minister by May 1st. So hence the meeting and presentation today. Next slide. So when the Source Protection Committee looks at it, they're looking to provide written comments about to the extent in which, in the opinion of the committee, the objectives set out in the Source Protection Plan are being achieved by the measures and the policies that are now in place. Next slide. And so again, the annual progress report is simply a message out to the public from the Source Protection Committee as to whether or not it's progressing well, and the supplemental forms provide the background information that opinion was formulated on. The objectives of source protection plans are clear. We want to provide to protect existing and future drinking water sources and ensure that existing activities never become significant drinking water threats. Slide. And so you have basically three categories in which to rank whether we're meeting those objectives. Limited progress means the plan policies have been implemented and or progressing. Satisfactory and progressing well or on target. Progressing well or on target means that the majority of the source protection plan policies have been implemented and are progressing. Next slide. So specifically with the Kettle Creek Source Protection Area, again, just as a reminder to the members, there's two municipal systems that our source protection plan deals with. One is the surface water intake for the Elgin area primary water supply down in Port Stanley. And then there's two municipal wells in the village of Belmont. Next slide. So in terms of how we're progressing, 100% of the legally binding plan policies have been implemented or in progress. 92 are fully implemented, and there's just one legally binding policy that remains in progress. There's a couple of official plans that are in the progress of being updated, so no real concern there. That's a regular occurrence as we move through official plan updates periodically. Next slide. The outstanding item that remains that we just reported on earlier is that there's one risk management plan was agreed to. Back when the plan was put in place in 2015, there was still fertilizer being stored down in Port Stanley, so that required a risk management plan. It was a risk to the drinking water. That risk has since been eliminated, so that requirement no longer exists. There is a risk management plan that is required for the storage of gasoline or gasoline at the Elgin area primary water supply board. So they have enough volume of gas there that's actually a significant drinking water threat. So they have to come up with a risk management plan. And that's currently being finalized by the board. So, and will be in place shortly. So that's the one outstanding risk management plan that still exists. So with that, the majority of the source protection plan policies have been implemented and are progressing. So the recommendation, next slide, from the committee was that it is the Kettle Creek Source Protection Plan is progressing well and is on target. And they submitted the plan to you for final approval and direction to the Source Protection Committee to submit it to the province. So the final recommendation is that the staff report and the Kettle Creek Annual Progress Report be received, that in the opinion of the Kettle Creek Source Protection Authority, implementation of the plan is progressing well and is on target towards achieving plan objectives, and that the authority direct Lake Erie Source Protection Region staff to submit the annual progress report to the ministry.
Okay. Any questions? If there's no questions, I'm not gonna read the whole recommendation since it's listed, just that it's recommendations before you, and you move and second, please. Todd, seconder, Sharon. Call the vote, please.
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Burrs.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Cribble.
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
Trousseau. And that motion passes, and there's no other business.
So next meeting is as required.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn or just?
I'm just taking a motion for adjournment at 10:54. If I can have just a mover and a seconder and assume everyone's in favor.
Sharon's moving, seconder. Todd. Assume everybody's in favor. Say no if you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to the regular meeting and it's time to go into closed session for matters, legal matter addressing acquisition of property. Need a mover and seconder, please. Lori and Sharon. Call the vote, please.
Baldwin Sands.
Yes.
Burrs.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Cribble.
Yes.
Noble.
Yes.
Trousseau.
Motion carries. We're now in closed session. You may need to stretch the